Episode of the Everblack Podcast is brought to you by Death Wish Hot Rods and Customs. Check out their Instagram for all their new t-shirts, caps, beanies, cups, and the all-new Atomic Death lineup. Clint, thanks for joining us on the show, brother. How's everything going?
Man, it's going great. I'm super stoked. The album's ready to drop. The singles are out. The dogs are barking. The cats are meowing, and life is good.
That's it. And I'll tell you what, man. The new album four is out on the 2nd. But and it's a really good fucking album, man. Like,
Thank you.
I feel lucky I've heard it, but especially like the intro, it's like a gunslinger coming back to town.
Yeah,
cleaning up
you got it.
It's like the return, the big return. Is that the concept that you guys were going for lyrically, metaphorically? I'd say
100% from me. That's right. I took the intro. I got the intro and I listened to it and I put the whistle on it. And Kurt said to me the other night, he's like, "Man." He's like, "That's not what it was supposed to be." And I said, "It is now." Because I said, "Man, you know what? That song, right? We've never had a song on like a movie or whatever." I said, "You know what? It'll be funny that intro will be the thing that makes it onto like a movie, a TV show, and it'll become the intro that people will hear every time because it's just so, man, it is the gunslinger. It really is back into town, like from the Wild Wild West. We're back." And hence the bullet, hence the title of the album. Do you know what I mean? Like the 4, I know it's not very creative because it's the 4th album, but who cares? And it's funny because we were sitting in the room and we're all looking at each other going, "Man, what are we going to call this thing?" And I was coming up with names and Benny was sitting up the back and he goes, "Why don't we just call it 4?" And I thought, okay, good title. Let's go.
That's awesome. Look out, Westworld. Throw the dude some money, eh?
Yeah, throw us some love.
But I mean, since reuniting the band, you guys, you've been absolutely smashing it. Was recording a new album on the cards from the moment you got back together, or something you've sort of eased into?
Yeah, no, it was definitely not. Kurt was very tentative about recording any new music, and he just wanted to see how the first tour was going to go. But when we launched that tour and like Brisbane sold out in under 10 minutes, I think there was a strong indication that the fan base was still there and hungry to see us and hungry for new music. And we got hassled all the way around on that tour. Like, "Are you guys writing new music? When are we going to hear something new?" And we had a bunch of demos, like I'm talking 20, 30 demos back from after Final Conversation of Kings, where Visiting Hours comes from.
Yeah.
And we just thought, man, let's just cherry pick the best of the best out of that and find the stuff that we resonate with and we really love. And let's go forward from there. But it was definitely not on the cards until after we got home from that first tour. And I think we saw the reaction that we had. And then I hassled Kurt out a bit and I said, "Come on, man, let's do it." And then he sent me a couple of new riffs and I was like, "Yeah, this is good. Let's go."
That's awesome. How was it going back through some of those old demos? Like,
Yeah, man, it was really cathartic. Actually, it was great listening to what we'd done, but like really poo-pooing it back at the start, man. We were not into it. I sent it to a couple of people and they're like, "Oh," and I think because we were so unstable as a band, it was very toxic. There wasn't a great vibe in the room. It really compounded those feelings of, I don't know if that's going to fly. Also, we weren't as happy with Final Conversation as we could have been. And I think there was a few songs we rushed to put on there that maybe we should have left off. So yeah, once we sort of, went forward with that, man, it was just, there was some good stuff. It was really good vibe. Listening back, I thought, man, they are good. They were really good. And we tinkered with them a whole bunch. There was, the sequence changing and I changed a few lyrics here and there and we changed some riffs slightly. But then we've got the finished product, man. I'm super stoked. I listened to it in the kitchen the other night and I had one of those moments, got the goosies, got the shivers and went, all right, this is good.
See, that means, it's done. When you get that and you get that chance, you're not going over things over and over again. That's when you can give yourself crack that beer and enjoy that. I just wrapped up a demo yesterday and I'm like, I'm done. It's done.
Yeah.
Done. It's like,
man, that's a great feeling, right? It's unreal.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, that's a big thing about the butterfly effect is, the start and finish the album from start to finish. It's big, it's epic, but there's a lot of thought that goes into that sequence by the sounds of things. How much time do you guys sort of spend breaking it down and getting that sort of cinematic flow?
Yeah, man, there's a whole bunch of that. Like once we got the songs back and they were mixed, thanks to our good man, Forrester Seville, who is amazing and has mixed a bunch of our stuff before. When we put it together and like we'll sit there and we'll flip songs through, but we kind of know what's going to work at the start and the finish. It's kind of fleshing out the middle so it flows properly. And in that vibe, I always think about it as a movie. Like, what would I like to hear from track to track to track? And I think the other guys inherently do that as well. So there's a ton of thought that goes in it because we need to know like what ending, if there is a little outro piece, if that's going to blend in the right key or chords to the next one, or whether there's going to be enough, how much gap to put between the songs, what was the kind of lyrical content and theme of the song that was moving into the next one. There's a ton, man. And I think it's not a case of let's just throw the songs down, whatever order they fall in sort of thing. There's a ton of that. But there's a real depth in this album as well. It's like, to me, Begins Here, it really has a darkness at the edges of it. And it's amazing to listen to front to back. And I think we've captured part of that, but in a different essence. Do you know what I mean? We've sort of transported that sort of vibe and feeling onto this album. It's not as dark, but it's certainly got those moments where it certainly goes deeper. And I love it. I listen to it, I'm thinking like it's a good blend for me between, just balls out rock and roll and thoughtful, emotive, sort of more prog music, if you will. You know what I mean? So I'm loving it, man. It's a good vibe, and I'm really proud to stand behind this one and go, yeah, check it out.
That's it. But the band has constantly evolved over the years, but you still always kept the core of what the butterfly effect is. All these years later, from Begins Here. How important was that to sort of make sure you kept that musical timeline and in touch with that? Because sometimes bands, they like Metallica, for instance, they go way off course. How was that for you guys?
I think, man, so on this album, there's like two songs that kind of represent each release from the EP. It's like So Tired and Nil by Mouth would have sat on the EP back in the day if we had, you know what I mean? If we had them around at that sort of time, I think anyway. Whereas like Visiting Hours would have sat perfectly, I think, on Final Conversation of Kings right next to Worlds on Fire for me. You know what I mean? Like it's got that real dark sort of brooding vibe. So it's really important for us to sort of push boundaries, but not go skew stage right. Do you know what I mean? Or just run off the end of the stage, because I think we kind of challenge listeners with So Tired and Nil by Mouth, especially people that joined us through Imago and Final Conversation, because that's all they would have known. Whereas older listeners from the EP and Begins Here, that they kind of got it. They were like, oh man, So Tired and Nil, they were bangers, man, they're great. And the reason why we wrote songs like that was so we could have some energy on stage again. Do you know what I mean? And we're not still playing 1 Second of Insanity trying to get people to bounce to that one. You know what I mean? So we wanted to really make sure that we encompassed all of the releases so that we facilitated the wants and needs of all the listeners, not just a select few of people that were joined us at different parts. Do you know what I mean? So but nothing too crazy, because we don't want to go that far. It'd be like if we came out with an electronic song. You know what I mean? People would be like, "What? Yeah, okay." It's cool, man, but it's just not the butterfly effect, right?
Yeah. It's like you look Becky.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, you're going to be hitting the road in support of the album September and October with Thornhill and our buddies down here, Caligulas Horse. What are you looking forward to about hitting the road with those boys?
Oh man, they're great bands. They really are. They're awesome. It's funny. Their old guitarist from Caligula's Horse, Adrian, he's our videographer, and he does a bunch of editing for us. Yeah. And he's a great guy. I love him to bits. He's great. And that's how I got into the band, because when I was talking to him, obviously when he was like filming our stuff, I said, man, you look familiar. And he goes, oh, I used to play in Caligula's Horse. And I was like, oh, dude, that's exactly right. So I went back and listened to a bunch of their stuff. And it's great, heavy, melodic alt rock to me. And it's got a great vibe, great melodies, great vocals. They're a really good band. And Thornhill I got into off a friend's recommendation. He was just saying, oh, dude, if because I was at the gym at the time. He said, if you need some music at the gym, get into this band, Thornhill. And it was the song Where Do We Go When We Die, which to me was, it's epic, and I loved it. And so I just started following them on their journey. So we're stoked to have both of those bands on the bill, because I really feel like it's a lineup, like it's a really good bill of solid bands that lift at every angle. And there's something there for everyone, like whether you're, a younger punter, for Caligula's Horse and Thornhill, older punter, come and see us, but get to see those bands as well. It's an all-round win-win.
And I see a musical connection between the three of you, because guaranteed that if you ask those dudes, they would have been listening to Butterfly Effect.
At some stage, they may have heard
it was. But there's a thread there, and I think you're right. It's a great package. It's going to be a sick tour, and it's what more do you want? It's going to be.
Man, and it's going to be big. The show's going to be huge. You're going to be hearing new songs from all three bands. It's going to be a great night out. I think, man, I'm really excited about the tour. I'm excited about the new album. There's a lot to be really happy and grateful for. I think, we've done a great job. Forrester's done an amazing mix again. And we've got a great team behind us. So I'm stoked about that. And we're still together, which is awesome. We haven't killed each other. And the vibe in the band room has been amazing, man. It's been better than ever. Like, we're getting on better than ever. And I wish I could transport these guys back to 2008 after Final Conversation at Kings, because I think, it would have been great to see where we could have gone from there. So we have got there's new music behind this one. There's about 5 songs in the demo bank, fully fleshed out. So there will be another release, whether it be an EP or full album, either maybe next year, end of next year. So to everyone else listening out there is new music coming after this. So, and look, man, with the pandemic, everyone went into shutdown mode, and we all went into the practice space and just wrote. So there's going to be so much new music. It's crazy.
That's exciting. And what about you solo stuff? Are you doing some solo stuff? Other bands, or like, what's going on with you outside of
man.
Effect?
I've got a solo album coming. It's just been mixed. It's finished now. So that's great. It goes off to mastering next week, and then I'll get all the artwork done. Like Thieves are coming back. We've got about 10, 11 demos, like waiting there for me to pull my finger out and finish them off. And so, man, there's more new music coming. So it's huge. It's going to be a big couple of years. Thank goodness that everything's opening up, because now we can earn some money, pay our rents and mortgages, and feed our families again. But more importantly, get out there and see you guys and give everyone a big hug, and just say thanks for hanging in there, and enjoy the new album.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. Well, dude, it's been awesome chatting with you today. We'll have all the links down here to 4 that's out on the 2nd. And bro, let's have a chat again when we're dropping that solo stuff, because I got a million more questions for you that's going to dig deep into your career.
Love it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Bro, take care of yourself, and we'll see you in Brisbane and Eaton's Hill, and we'll have all the rest of the dates down here.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, man.
See you, mate.